Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, Osborne ordered the gates of countless prison camps to be opened. Thousands of prisoners, many of whom had been held since the Second World War, were finally set free after years of captivity. To the world, it appeared to be an act of mercy, but for Osborne, it was also a calculated move. Every liberated soul became another opportunity to win support, rebuild devastated lands, and strengthen the growing Scorpion Empire. Among these freed by Osborne was Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus, once the commander of the German Sixth Army. He had surrendered at Stalingrad in 1943 and spent years in Soviet captivity. Now, after being liberated by the Scorpion Empire, Paulus saw a chance to rewrite his legacy. Grateful to Osborne for his freedom, he pledged his loyalty to the movement and swore to return to his homeland. Under the banner of the Scorpions, he was determined to reclaim Germany and bring it under the Empire's command. Paulus asked Osborne for military support in the coming campaign against Germany. He knew that without the strength of the Scorpion Empire, Berlin would never fall under his command. In return, Paulus made a clear promise. If Osborne helped him to rise the power in Berlin, Germany would not become independent again. It would remain under the authority of the Scorpion Empire, with Paulus ruling the nation as Osborne's loyal commander. For Osborne, the offer was perfect. Germany was too important to be conquered by force alone. It needed a familiar face, a name with a powerful enough to command respect, fear, and obedience, and Paulus was ready to become the man. As the day passed, the campaign began to take shape. Although Paulus remained the public face of the operation, the true command rested in the hands of General Williams, one of Osborne's most trusted military leaders. While Williams coordinated the ground offensive and planned every advance, Paulus inspired the German people to rally behind the Scorpion movement, presenting the invasion as Germany's path to rebirth. Above them, Lieutenant General Wu Ru commanded the Empire's air forces. His advanced aircraft dominated the skies, destroying enemy positions and securing complete air superiority wherever the Scorpion army advanced. Within just 2 weeks, Williams has transformed the Scorpion forces into a fully prepared invasion army. More than 100,000 soldiers stood assembled along the German border, waiting for a single order to advance. Supply lines has been secured, armored divisions were in position, and Wuru's air fleet were ready to dominate the skies from the very first hour of the offensive. As the countdown to the invasion continued, Paulus waited with growing anticipation. After years of captivity, he was finally on the verge of returning to his homeland, not as a prisoner, but as the head of an army determined to bring Germany under the banner of the Scorpion Empire. The order to attack was given at first light on the clear and silent morning. The invasion began with the thunder of the heavy Gustav artillery. Those devastating shells tore through the German defensive lines. Moments later, Wuru's aircraft crossed the skies, striking military positions, supply depots, and communication centers with brutal precision. Berlin has been caught completely off guard before the German command could understand the scale of the attack. The Scorpion offensive was already moving forward. With Paulus entering Berlin, the full-scale invasion was officially underway. The first wave of attacks struck major cities across Germany. Hamburg and Munich were among the earliest targets, as waves of conventional bombers, long-range ballistic missiles, and small tactical nuclear weapons overwhelmed military installation and strategic infrastructure. The speed of intensity of the offensive left the German High Command struggling to respond. Within hours, the Scorpion Empire has seized the initiative and the campaign for Germany has entered in the destructive phase. As the Scorpions pushed deeper into Germany, more and more retired generals answered the call to defend their homeland. Veterans from previous campaigns returned to active service, determined to stop the invasion before the nation fell. But their appearance did not surprise the Scorpion High Command. Osborne and Williams had anticipated such a response from the very beginning. Every phase of the campaign has been planned with the expectation that Germany's most experienced commanders would eventually return to the battlefield. The Scorpions were ready to face them all. Paulus soon took the initiative in the armored offensive. Leading the advance himself, he pushed west toward Cologne with the Scorpion Tank Division at his back. City after city came under heavy assault and his armored forces broke through division's line and crushed German resistance with relentless pressure. For Paulus, this was no longer just an invasion. It was his return to Germany, and he was determined to prove that he could still command an army capable of changing the fate of a nation. After the fall of Germany's major cities, Paulus received a critical intelligence report. According to Scorpion's Renaissance, a German secret military base has been established near Belgrade, serving as the last major command and logistics center of the remaining resistance. Without hesitation, Paulus relayed the information to Lieutenant General Wu Ru. Within hours, the Scorpion Air Force launched a massive counter-strike against the hidden facility. Wave after wave of bombers and advanced aircraft pounded the base until it was completely destroyed, eliminating one of the last strongholds capable of organizing a coordinated German counteroffensive. Following Paulus' coronation in Berlin, a classified report from Osborne arrived at the imperial headquarters. The message contained alarming intelligence. Chinese forces has begun a massive military organization in support of the Soviet Union. Their objective was clear: launch a counteroffensive to liberate Moscow and drive the Scorpion Empire out of Soviet territory. Osborne warned Paulus that Germany was now secure, but a far greater battle was about to begin in the east. If Moscow were to fall, years of Scorpion victories could be undone in a single campaign. With Germany firmly under Scorpion control, the Empire had secured the heart of Europe. The time had come to launch its next great campaign. To the east, a new enemy was rising. China had begun mobilizing its forces to support the Soviet resistance, preparing a massive offensive to reclaim Moscow and push the Scorpion Empire out of Eastern Europe. For Osborne, this would be the greatest challenge his empire has ever faced. The campaign against China would test every commander, every soldier, and every weapon the Scorpions possessed. The road to the east had begun. So, guys, this was the chapter 5. This is called Return to Home because the appearance of Paulus here is controversial stuff. But yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye bye.